Well, good morning. Happy Thursday morning. Sun's not up yet, but it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day. I know that because this is the day the Lord has made. So, as Tim reminds us, let us rejoice and be glad in it. The lesson I want to share with you, or the devotion I want to share with you today, comes from Lutheran Hour Ministries. I have my Lutheran Hour shirt on. I haven't worn this for a while now, but it's there's a lot of nuggets in our lessons this weekend. We had a lectionary study yesterday, and really dove into the Isaiah passage, which is itself so intriguing and wonderful to remind us God is in control no matter what's going on. The lesson from Thessalonians reminds us about how God works through all of us. And then our gospel lesson, well, it puts before us a number of things, very well-known texts and passages, but I want to share with you something today that's talking about looking at faces and looking at hearts. Now, I got to say, I got a coin here. Hopefully you can see it. What's funny is that we've gone so cashless in our society that it took me about 10 minutes to find a coin in our house. I was looking all around like, where's the coin? Where's the coin? I went to my wallet, looked all around, realized that we've gotten so accustomed to using plastic that we don't always have change laying around. So, but I'll use this in just a moment. The reading comes from the gospel for this weekend, which is from Matthew 22, 15 to 22. And it begins, then the Pharisees went and plotted how to entangle him in his words. And they sent their disciples to him, along with the Herodians, saying, Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of God truthfully. And you do not care about anyone's opinion, for you are not swayed by appearances. A lot of buttering up, right? So tell us then, what do you think? Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, Why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me a coin for the tax. And they brought him a denarius. And Jesus said to them, Whose likeness and inscription is this? They said, Caesar's. Then he said to them, Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Now when they heard it, they marveled. And they left him and went away. Now what's really strange about this is that word there that's translated. First, it's strange that Jesus' enemies weren't even swayed. It shows that their hearts were so hard and they were so angry and hateful at him that even when he addresses them with such wonderful and a beautiful message, they still turn away and marvel and go away. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it, no matter what answer he gives them. They wanted one thing and he did not give in, so therefore they went away. But when Jesus' enemies say that you are not swayed by appearances, they said to Jesus, what that Greek phrase actually translated says that you don't look at people's faces. Now, it sounds kind of strange. You don't look at people's faces is what they're saying to Jesus. Now, it's saying you don't look at their appearance, but not looking at faces makes it sound like Jesus is walking around with his eyes down all the time, never looking up. And so that's why translators have to kind of rephrase it. Because in English, you do not look at faces sounds like you never make eye contact. But the fact is that the faces are being used in this story. There's a lot of them being used. You don't look at faces means you don't look at appearances. You don't look at how people dress or how they act. So you look at things objectively. And also there's the thing with the coin. As I showed you, if you haven't noticed, there's a face on this coin. This is, of course, a quarter, and you have George Washington on it, right? And on this coin, it has United States of America. It has $1 The backside, it's of course a state coin, so you have a certain state here. And forgive me, it's really small, and I realize my eyes are getting old. But you have a lot of things inscribed here. One of them, in God we trust, is all on here. Now this inscription, this face, you have two sides of the coin, right? You have the face and you have the tails or the back. And the denarius was the same way. It had two sides. It had a face side and had the other side. Now the face side, the one we look at first, had a inscription of the Caesar of the day. And so therefore it was his likeness. And we always look at this one first because it's clear and easier to read. And you know the face, you know this is a quarter also because of the size of it. It doesn't matter, it doesn't take long to figure out what the coin is worth. So Jesus says, okay, whose face is on that coin? More or less, if it's his face on it, give it to him, right? It belongs to him. Can't give George Washington, he's dead, but give it to the government. This is a United States of America coin. It belongs to the United States of America. Now, it's not that Jesus is overly concerned for Caesar and his taxes. Although many look at this and say, well, this means we have to pay taxes, which is true. We need to pay our taxes. But it tells us he's very concerned about us. I mean, about every single human being. Because unlike a coin, we bear the likeness of God. We are in the image of God. We are created in the image of God. He not only made us, but if we were coins, our face, well, it'd be God's face stamped on us. And that's what gives us our worth, our value. So if I look and see Washington, I know it's a quarter. I look at individuals. I see these people have value. Everyone, no matter what their age, no matter what their abilities, no matter what their race or anything else, they have value because they bear the image of God. And therefore, they are worth something. They are worth a lot. They are worth the very blood of God's Son. So in a sense, yeah, Jesus doesn't look at faces. He doesn't look at appearances. He doesn't look at faces. But he looks at the face of God, which is stamped on all the people that God has made. And he thinks, if it has God's image, then it belongs to God, right? Jesus died and rose to bring all of us who are image bearers of God back to God, back to the one who we belong to forever. So consider that. When you think about faces, the face of a coin or the face of us who bear the image of God, Jesus says, well, if these coins belong to Caesar or the United States government, give it to them. But you bear the image of God. So therefore, give to God what is his. Well, Jesus died in order to bring us to God, but it also puts into our lives a challenge. If we are in the image of God and our value is in God, that means that all we have, all that we are, all that we do is done for him, is given to him. We call this Christian stewardship. Our time, our talents, our treasures, our money, whether it bears Caesar's or United States impression on it, our time, whether it's hours, minutes, seconds, days, weeks, and our talents. Each of us have been gifted by God in unique and marvelous ways. All those things, since they belong to God and are of God, and we bear his image, we bear his likeness, his face is stamped upon us, therefore we need to give to him. So maybe that's a good way to consider our devotion today. You bear the image of God. And since you are God's, you give to God what is God's. How might you live your life today, bringing glory to him, recognizing who you are, what value you have, and how you might live out this day uniquely, specifically, wholeheartedly for the one who created you, who redeemed you, and who continues to support, empower, and strengthen you for each day of this world. Yeah, faces play a lot in this text. Jesus is not one who is the word here, looking at people's faces, because when he sees people, he doesn't see their faces. He sees the face of God. So even though it is a cashless society, next time you have a coin, look at the face of it. And then maybe that reminds you that you bear the likeness of God. And since we pay our taxes, we pay our bills, we pay a lot of taxes, right? Well, maybe we need to realize that we need to give God what is his so that he is the one who receives the glory. Consider how that's played out in your life today. Consider that when people see you, do they see God's image stamped upon you? Do they see God's image live through you? Or maybe if they did, does that change the way that you deal with them, that you respond to challenges, to heartaches? Or maybe here's a better question. How can you get in the habit? How can you get in the habit of seeing that face of God more and more clearly in your neighbors? Those you deal with. Those who have God's face stamped upon them, his image stamped upon them. See your neighbors in that image. Treat them in that way. And see how God has brought the glory. Let's close our time in prayer. Dear Lord, bring me safely back to the Father through his Son, Jesus, for I belong to you forever. And guide and direct me today to give myself what is yours to you and to see your image across all people I come across today. Let that truly impact the way that I treat them, that I respond to them, the way I love them, how I'm patient, how I'm caring. Help me, Lord, to be just that, treating each person as one who is truly belongs to you, and knowing that, how we can honor and respect them, loving them, and caring for them. Equip me, Lord, to do that today, and each person as they hear this message. Bless us in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, thank you for joining me on this morning devotion. It's going to be a long day today, but a wonderful day. Again, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Have a wonderful day. Know that I love you, and aloha.